some heavy metal!
I can fix anything, except that.
Metal is dead.
Finally, after a long wait, Brütal Legend has finally been released.
Yes.
And it's a new game by Tim Schafer.
The guy who is one of the few visionaries when it comes to good and funny dialogue and story in game.
Yeah, I think the word funny is very important when it comes to Tim
Yes.
Schafer. For example, Psychonauts.
Yes. Psychonauts, an amazing game, played by very few people.
Yeah, I think 3.
More or less.
Present company included. Anyway, he's back with Brütal Legend, together with Jack Black.
Yes.
Is he still funny?
Yes, but whereas Psychonauts was a complete Tim Schafer game with only him and his input compiling into the humor of the game, this is very much a Jack Black vehicle as well. So if you don't like Tenacious D and the movies that Jack Black has done, and his whole persona of being this incarnation of everything good when it comes to metal music, you won't like the game.
Yeah, because metal music is one of the most important parts of Brütal Legend.
It's the whole backbone of the game, yes. If this had been any other game, we could have started this out by saying that it's an action-adventure and referencing all the games that it borrows from. But when it comes to Brütal Legend, it's impossible not to start out with saying that this is a heavy metal action-adventure game where everything is inspired by either heavy metal artists or the whole theme of heavy metal. And that goes into the game world, the characters you meet, the powers you get, everything.
That was actually one of the things that I was a bit scared of. You know, we've seen a lot of videos from Brütal Legend. We've heard Tim talk a lot about the game now for a long time. But I was always afraid that the humor and the storyline and the theme, in the end, when you sit down to actually play the game, that it wouldn't work out.
I think it does, but again, I must mention that I actually like Jack Black, and I like the things he's been doing with Tenacious D and everything, and I also like heavy metal music. And just this contrast of what defines heavy metal music, the good kind of heavy metal music, compared to everything that started to ruin heavy metal music, is actually a really cool way to do the whole battle between what is good and what is evil in the world. And of course, if you know anything about Jack Black, you instantly know where he stands on this issue. And this has been trickled into, you know, your armies consisting of headbangers and everything, whereas the enemies are the lycra-wearing, lipstick-wearing hair rockers. So, yeah, it works. It definitely works.
But to a person who doesn't like Jack Black and doesn't like heavy metal, would you still recommend Brütal Legend as a game?
Sort of. It's a solid game, and it's a game combined of ideas from a lot of different games. Such as Zelda, surprisingly, which really surprised me. The ocarina is now a heavy metal guitar that you use to deliver magic attacks, but also raise stuff from the ground and call forward your vehicle and face melting magic and stuff like that. And there's a bit of God of War because it's a hack and slash game where you run around and just beat the crap out of people. And actually there's a huge part of the game that's a strategy game where you have to occupy like resources and build armies and stuff like that. So it's a really weird mixture, and each part for itself isn't really very good. I mean, it's not that original, and there's just this feeling of everything not having the kind of polish that it really should have had. But combined, it's a solid game that definitely gets better if you like the humor and Jack Black and funny dialogue.
We've been waiting for Brütal Legend now for a long time. And would you say at the end of the day, was it as good as we expected it to be? Or we were hoping it?
Sadly, I have to say no. And that's partly because I loved Psychonauts, and Psychonauts was really a game I was hoping for it to be. It was funny from start to end. Whereas this is more of a game that feels like it had to include a lot of popular ideas from popular games today. And they really don't gel as well as I would have liked them to. And also, I mean, there's just some weak points in the game that really is hard to avoid, like the mini bonus missions that you do to earn money that you can buy upgrades for. So they're way too repetitive. The story in itself is really funny, but then again you end up with some of these strategy battles that take way too long and are just a mess when it comes to controls. So no, sadly, but it's still a very enjoyable game, and it's a game that I would recommend to everyone who just needs a funny action game with really good dialogue.
Yeah, I say most of us do, I think. Just some great Tim Schafer kind of humor that personally I've been missing since Psychonaut. It's good to have that again.
Yeah, and there really isn't any other people doing this kind of humor as good as Double Fine and Tim Schafer do.
Absolutely not.
So.